The battlefield was quiet now, but the silence was not peaceful. It was the kind of silence that comes after too much noise, after bombs, after screams, after life has gone. Ash and dust floated in the air like slow snow, and burned metal still smoked under the broken sky. Sergeant Ryan Blake moved carefully, rifle ready, eyes scanning every broken wall and shadow. His boots crunched on pieces of glass and alien stone. The war had ended here 3 hours ago, but he knew better than to trust that. There were always traps, lost drones, and sometimes survivors, and then he heard it, soft, so soft he almost missed it. A voice, a tiny voice in the wind. "I can't find my mother." Ryan stopped cold. He turned his head, ears sharp, nothing. Then again, the same soft whisper, like a child's broken cry. "I can't find my mother." The voice was coming from the rubble ahead. His mind told him trap, his heart said go. He moved slowly, carefully pushing aside a broken beam, then a piece of a fallen wall. And there, half buried in gray ash, was a small figure. Not human, but small, thin, arms shaking, skin pale blue with strange white marks glowing faintly. A girl, maybe 7 or 8 in human years, sitting curled like a lost kitten. Her eyes were closed. No, she had no eyes. Just smooth skin where eyes should be. Ryan lowered his rifle. She didn't move, but turned her head slightly toward him. "Are you human?" she whispered. Her voice was dry, weak, like someone who hadn't had water in days. Ryan didn't answer right away. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice steady but gentle. She lifted her face a little. "I'm Luma," she said. "I can't find my mother." Ryan knelt beside her, still watching the shadows. "You're blind," he said softly. "Yes," she replied, "but I see things other ways." Ryan looked around. No bodies, no movement, no signs of anyone else. Just this little girl sitting in the middle of war. "Where is your unit? Your people?" he asked. "I don't know," she said. "They were gone when I woke up." Ryan felt a twist in his chest. This was not a soldier, not a spy, just a child. He tapped his comlink. "Command." "I found a live alien child, no threat." "Requesting evac," a cold voice replied. "Negative, Sergeant. Leave the alien and return to base." "Orders are clear." Ryan stared at the child. She reached forward suddenly, grabbing his boot. "Please," she said. "Don't leave me alone." His breath caught. She couldn't see him, but somehow she knew. Something about her touch felt strange, like a hum in the air. He looked back toward the safe zone, then back at her. "I don't have time for this," he muttered. But he didn't move. Instead, he reached down and lifted her into his arms. She was so light, like she had no weight at all. Her hands clung to his armor like she was holding onto the world itself. "I heard her voice," she said as they moved through the rubble. "My mother's voice in my dream," she said to wait. That someone would come. Ryan didn't reply. He didn't believe in dreams. He believed in choices, and he had just made one. Behind them, in the dust, a small red light blinked. Someone was watching. As they moved between ruined buildings, Luma spoke again. "There are others watching us." "Hiding?" Ryan froze. "What do you mean?" "I don't know where," she said, "but I feel them. Like eyes on my skin." Ryan scanned the rooftops. Nothing. Still, he changed direction, moving toward a collapsed tunnel. Safer to hide for now. Inside the tunnel, he set her down and offered her water. She drank slowly, her hands shaking. "Thank you." "Ryan," she said softly. He blinked. "I didn't tell you my name." She tilted her head. "I heard it in my dream." Ryan's heart beat faster. "What else did you hear?" "My mother said, 'The human who helps me will change everything.'" For a moment, neither of them spoke. Outside, the wind carried dust and danger. Inside, a blind alien girl and a tired human soldier sat together. 2 lost souls in a broken world. And far above them, something ancient and watching stirred from sleep. The tunnel was cold and broken. Water dripped from cracks above, and the ground was wet with mud and ash. Ryan sat near the entrance, holding his rifle close, listening for any sound. Behind him, the blind alien girl sat quietly, legs pulled to her chest, head resting on her knees. Her name was Luma. She was small, blind, and strange. But something about her was not normal. Not just alien, but different. Ryan kept thinking about what she said before, that she saw him in a dream, that her mother told her a human would come, and now she was here with him. "In the middle of a war zone, Luma," Ryan said softly. "How did you survive out there alone?" She lifted her face, pale blue and marked with glowing lines. I wasn't alone, she replied. There were voices, lights, whispers. Whispers? Ryan asked, frowning. Yes, she said, but not from people, more like the planet. Ryan stared at her. He didn't believe in magic, but something about her words made the air feel heavier. Luma touched the wall beside her, then smiled. This tunnel was made by hands that were not human, she said. A long time ago. How do you know that? Ryan asked. I feel it, she whispered. In my skin. In my bones. Her fingers traced a line on the wall, and for a second the stone glowed faintly under her touch. Ryan stood up quickly. What did you just do? I don't know, Luma said. It happens when I'm close to certain places. Ryan felt a chill run down his back. This wasn't just a blind alien child. She was connected to something deeper, something older. She didn't need eyes to see. He checked his comlink again. Still no signal. They were too deep underground. Maybe that was a good thing. Luma tilted her head suddenly. They're getting closer, she whispered. Who? Ryan asked. The ones searching for me, she said. But they're not human. Ryan tightened his grip on his weapon. Do you know what they want? They want what's inside me, she said calmly. My mother hid it when I was born. Ryan took a slow breath. He didn't know what was happening, but he knew one thing. This girl wasn't lying. She couldn't see, yet she knew things he didn't. And now enemies were coming. Maybe not human. Maybe worse, all right, he said. We're leaving. He picked her up again, and they moved deeper through the tunnel. It twisted and turned like a maze, but Luma guided him. Left, she said. Then down, then through the broken arch, and how do you know? Ryan asked. I've never been here, she said, but I remember it. You remember a place you've never seen? He asked. Yes, she said. My mother used to speak to me when I slept. Her voice showed me these tunnels. The tunnel opened into a larger space, an old chamber, filled with fallen statues and broken machines. Luma suddenly gasped. She was here, she whispered, tears falling from her empty eyes. She stood here once. Long ago, Ryan set her down gently. Luma, was your mother a soldier? No, she said. She was something else. She worked with light, with memory, with energy. The symbols on Luma's skin began to glow again. Brighter now, one of the machines flickered to life. Blinking softly, Ryan aimed his rifle, but nothing attacked. Instead, a soft blue light formed in the air. A voice spoke, not in English, but Luma understood. She's speaking, Luma said with wonder. My mother left this message. Ryan watched as the blue light took shape. It looked like a woman, tall and elegant with the same pale skin and glowing marks. The hologram bent down and looked right at Luma. If you are hearing this, my daughter, it means I failed to return, the voice said. You must find the core before they do and the human with you. He is the key. Ryan stepped back, shocked. The key? Me? He whispered. The light vanished and the chamber fell silent again. Luma looked up at him. Now do you believe me? She asked. Ryan nodded slowly. Yeah, he said. You're not just an alien. They sat for a moment, breathing slowly, then Luma looked up, her voice shaking. They're here, she whispered. Ryan turned fast, gun raised. From the tunnel behind them came a new sound, not boots, not wheels, but something. Crawling, long, clicking legs, cold, metal breath, hunters. Ryan stood in front of Luma. Whatever she was, whatever secret she held, he wasn't going to let anyone take her. Not today. The sound of metal legs echoed through the tunnels. Ryan stood with his weapon raised. Eyes sharp, heart beating fast behind him, Luma sat still. Her glowing marks fading and brightening like slow breathing. The air was heavy with dust and every sound felt louder than it should. Stay behind me, Ryan said quietly. Luma nodded, though she couldn't see. Her small hand reached for the wall, and she whispered something in a language Ryan didn't know. The air changed. It felt warmer, almost alive. The first hunter appeared, a tall, insect-like machine with silver claws and a single red eye. Ryan fired without thinking, the shot echoing through the tunnel. The creature screamed like metal twisting, sparks flying, but two more crawled out of the shadows. Faster and angrier, Ryan grabbed Luma's hand and ran. The tunnel split into two paths, left or right. He shouted, "Left!" She cried. "I can feel the light that way." They ran into darkness. Behind them, claws scraped the walls and voices buzzed through broken speakers. Target located. Retrieve alive. Ryan's heart pounded harder. They want you alive, he said. Why? Luma whispered. Because of what's inside my mind. Ryan didn't understand. What does that mean? he asked, breathing hard. Luma touched her forehead. My mother said there's something hidden in me, something that can wake the stars again. They reached an open space, a giant underground hall filled with broken machines and hanging wires. The air shimmered faintly, like the whole place was dreaming. Luma stopped suddenly. This is it, she said softly. The memory chamber. Ryan looked around. This place looks like a graveyard, he said. Luma smiled a little. It's where memories sleep. She walked forward. Slowly, feeling her way across the floor. The symbols on her arms glowed brighter and brighter. The old machines around her began to hum. One by one, Ryan watched, amazed. Luma, what are you doing? I'm unlocking what's inside, she said, her voice distant. I have to remember. A beam of light fell from above. Surrounding her like a pillar, Ryan stepped back, shielding his eyes. Inside the light, Luma's body floated slightly. Her hair moving like water. Images appeared around her. Stars. Cities, people of light then. War, flashes of fire, ships falling, planets dying. Ryan saw it all like a dream he didn't belong in. Luma's voice spoke, echoing through the light. They called us the Lumari, the keepers of sight beyond sight. We could see time, space, and truth. But our vision was stolen, Ryan whispered. Stolen by who? Her voice trembled. By humans. The light faded, and Luma fell to her knees, breathing hard. Ryan rushed forward and caught her. She looked pale, her glowing marks dim now. Did you see it? She asked weakly. Yes, Ryan said, still shocked. You're saying humans destroyed your people? She nodded slowly. Long ago, before your history began. Ryan didn't know what to say. He had been taught the aliens started the war, not humans. But what if everything was a lie? Suddenly the ground shook. The hunters had found them again, crawling into the hall. Their red eyes glowing like demons, Ryan lifted his rifle, firing again. One went down, but two more came, their claws slicing through metal. Luma tried to stand, but her legs shook. She whispered, I can stop them. But it will hurt. Don't, Ryan said. You're weak. She shook her head. I have to. She raised her hands, and the marks on her arms blazed with light. The machines froze in place, twitching, screeching, as if something inside them broke. Their eyes turned white, then dark. Luma screamed and fell back, the light dying away. Ryan grabbed her again. Luma, he shouted, and stay with me. She opened her mouth slowly. They're not the real danger, she whispered. They're just servants. Servants of who? The ones who made me. Ryan froze. What do you mean? My mother didn't just create me to find her, she said, voice faint. She created me to destroy what she made. Ryan's blood ran cold. The truth was bigger than he ever imagined, a child blind but powerful, holding something inside her mind that could change everything or end it. He lifted her into his arms again. We're getting out of here, he said firmly. Where will we go? She whispered. Somewhere they can't find us, he replied, though he wasn't sure that place existed. As he carried her through the smoke-filled tunnels, Luma spoke one last time before fainting. Ryan, when I dream, I see your face standing in front of the stars. Burning, her voice faded. Ryan looked down at her, heart heavy. He didn't know what destiny had tied them together, but he knew one thing. He couldn't let her fall into the wrong hands, not this girl, not this secret. Far behind them, a signal flashed in the dark. A voice on a hidden channel whispered, Subject Luma is active. Proceed to phase 2, and somewhere far away, a woman who looked just like Luma opened her eyes in a cryopod. Her heart began to beat again. The mother had awakened. The desert was endless. Waves of golden sand stretched to the horizon like an ocean without water. The sun was low now, painting the sky orange and red. But Ryan wasn't admiring the view, he was tired. Shoulders burning from carrying Luma for miles. She had passed out after using her powers again. Her glowing marks were now dim, her skin cold to the touch, but she was breathing, still alive, still holding on to something inside her mind. Ryan had found an old map in the memory chamber. It pointed to a place far from the war zones, a secret lab buried deep beneath the sand. That's where her mother might be. That's where the truth was waiting. The sand crunched under his boots as he reached the top of a hill. Below was a jagged rock formation, shaped like claws coming out of the earth. In the center was a black metal door, half buried, with strange markings glowing faintly. This had to be it. He walked toward it. Luma still in his arms. As he got closer, the The symbols on the door responded. Glowing brighter, he stepped back, unsure. Then Luma stirred. Her voice was weak but clear. "This is where she went, your mother?" Ryan asked. "Yes," she whispered. "She built this place before the war." Ryan looked at the door. "Can you open it?" "I can try," she said, and raised her hand toward the markings. The glowing symbols moved like liquid, swirling under her touch. With a low rumble, the ground shook, and the door began to sink into the sand, revealing stairs. Cold air rushed out. Carrying a scent of metal, dust, and something older, Ryan carried her inside, rifle ready, eyes alert. The stairs led to a wide hallway filled with flickering lights and broken screens. It looked abandoned, but something in the air still felt alive. "Where do we go now?" Ryan asked. Luma pointed weakly to the left. "To the deep chamber." They moved through dark halls with curved walls and alien machines. Most were silent, but a few still blinked. Watching, recording, waiting. They passed tanks filled with strange glowing fluid, and rows of empty pods. Ryan had seen military labs before, but nothing like this. Suddenly, they reached a large door sealed with a golden lock. Luma touched the lock and it opened with a soft hum. Inside was a round chamber filled with floating lights, and at the center was a pod, a cryopod, and inside it a woman. Ryan stepped closer, heart pounding. She looked like Luma, only older, taller, same pale skin, same glowing marks. But her face was calm, sleeping peacefully. Luma walked forward slowly, her hands shaking. "Mother," she whispered, voice cracking. The pod's screen lit up. Scanning her presence, a message played. "If you are hearing this, my child, I'm still asleep," the woman's voice said gently. "I hid myself here to keep the truth safe, to keep you safe." Ryan watched as Luma dropped to her knees. Tears rolled down her face. "And why did you leave me?" She cried softly. The recording continued. "They came for the knowledge I protected. They wanted to turn you into a weapon. So I erased your memories, I blinded you. Not to hurt you, but to protect you from the pain." Ryan looked at the pod. Stunned, "She blinded her own daughter?" Luma nodded slowly. "She didn't want me to see the war, or what I was made for." The message ended and silence returned to the room. Ryan walked over and placed a hand on Luma's shoulder. "She did it out of love," he said. "Even if it hurts," but the quiet didn't last. Suddenly, alarms blared across the lab. Red lights flashing. "Warning," a robotic voice said. "Unauthorized presence detected," Ryan cursed under his breath. "How did they find us?" Luma's eyes turned toward the wall. "They've been tracking me since I left the chamber," she said. "But now they know where I am." Ryan looked at the pod. "We have to wake her up now." "I don't know how," Luma said. Panic rising, Ryan rushed to the console, pressing buttons, reading symbols. Come on, he muttered. The screen showed a countdown. Cryo-core warming. 30 seconds. Heavy footsteps echoed from the hall. Not crawling this time. Walking. Ryan aimed his rifle at the door. "Get ready," he said. "I'm scared," Luma whispered. "So am I," Ryan replied. "But I've got you." The door burst open, and figures in dark armor stepped in. Not machines, people. Their leader raised a glowing weapon. "Step away from the pod," he ordered. Ryan stood his ground. "No," he said. "She's not yours." The leader smiled coldly. "She was never yours either." Behind Ryan, the pod clicked open. A soft white light spread across the room, and the woman inside took her first breath in years. Her eyes opened, bright, glowing, full of power and pain. She sat up slowly, looking at Ryan, at Luma, and then at the intruders. "I see," she said calmly. "It's time I finish what I started." The chamber was filled with bright white light. It was warm, like sunlight after a long winter. Ryan stepped back, shielding his eyes. Luma stood frozen, her small hands shaking as she watched the cryopod open. From inside, the woman took a slow, trembling breath. Mist rolled down her shoulders as she stepped out, her glowing mark softly pulsing. She looked around, eyes calm but powerful, like someone who had seen everything and forgotten nothing. Then her gaze fell on Luma. "My daughter," she whispered, voice soft yet echoing in the chamber. Luma ran forward and fell to her knees, tears running down her cheeks. "Mother!" she cried. "You came back." The woman knelt and placed a gentle hand on her head. "I never truly left," she said. "I have been waiting for you." Ryan watched, unsure what to do. He had fought aliens, machines, and nightmares, but this moment felt more powerful than any battle. The connection between them was something beyond science. It was love that had survived through time. But then the woman turned to him, her eyes sharp. "You are the human from her visions," she said. Ryan froze. "What visions?" he asked. "The ones that guided her here," she replied. "The dreams were not random. They were sent to her through the bond we share." Luma looked up at her, confused. "Mother, why did you send me those dreams?" The woman sighed. "Because you are the last of the Lumari," she said. "And the world needs you to remember who you are." Ryan frowned. "You said before your people were destroyed," he said. "By humans?" The woman nodded slowly. "Yes, but not by choice," she said. "Long ago, before your kind even knew space travel, our worlds met and fear was born." Her voice became heavy. "The humans feared our power, the power to see through time, to understand the truth behind matter itself. So they turned us into weapons, experiments, slaves of vision." Ryan felt his chest tighten. "That's impossible," he whispered. The woman looked at him, eyes filled with old pain. "Is it?" she said softly. "Even now your leaders do the same, hiding truth behind fear." Luma held her mother's hand. "Then why did you create me?" she asked. "Why make me blind?" The woman's voice trembled for the first time. "Because I wanted to break the circle," she said. "I gave you power. But I took away your sight so no one could use you again." She turned toward Ryan. "I hid her memories inside her mind, locked with pain and light," she explained. "Only when she met someone pure of heart, someone who acts without gain, would the lock begin to open." Ryan stared at her, realizing, "You mean me?" She nodded. "Yes, human." "Your choice to help her was the key." The air suddenly trembled, and the lights flickered. A distant explosion shook the walls. "They've breached the surface," Ryan said. Gripping his rifle, the woman's expression hardened. "Then we have little time." She walked to a control panel and pressed her palm to it. A holographic map appeared, showing the planet's surface and a massive structure buried deep below. Luma looked at it and gasped. "What is that?" "The core," her mother said. "The heart of this planet. It stores the memory of every Lumari ever born." Ryan squinted at the map. "Why would they want it?" "Because if they control the core," the woman said, "they control all knowledge, all history. Even the truth of your world." Luma stepped closer. "Then we must protect it," she said. Her mother looked at her gently. "Yes, but to protect it, you must awaken it." "And only you can." Luma shook her head, afraid. "I don't know how." Her mother smiled faintly. "You already do. My child, you just have to remember." The ground shook again, louder this time. From the hall behind them came the sound of footsteps and static voices. Ryan raised his rifle. "They're here," he said. The woman turned to him. "Go with her to the core," she said. "I will hold them off." "No," Ryan said quickly. "You can't fight them alone." She smiled sadly. "I was fighting them long before you were born." Luma grabbed her hand, tears in her eyes. "Mother, please come with us." Her mother shook her head. "My place is here," she said softly. "But yours is out there." With him, she placed a glowing crystal in Ryan's hand. "This will guide you to the core," she said. "But remember, truth is heavier than war." Ryan nodded slowly. "I'll protect her," he promised. The woman's eyes softened. "I know," she whispered. "That's why she found you." The door at the far end exploded open, and dark armored soldiers rushed in. "Go!" her mother shouted, her hands glowing with light. Energy surged from her like a storm, throwing the soldiers back. Ryan grabbed Luma and ran down a narrow tunnel, the crystal lighting their path behind them. The room filled with light and sound, then silence as they reached the surface. Luma turned back, the ground trembled again, and a column of white fire rose from below. Her mother's voice echoed through the wind. "Remember who you are." "My child." Ryan held her close as the desert wind roared. She cried softly into his armor. He looked at the burning sand behind them and whispered, "We'll finish what she started." Far above, in orbit, unseen eyes watched. A voice crackled through static. "The mother is gone. The child is active. Proceed to capture." The hunt wasn't over. It had only just begun. The desert wind screamed across the cracked ground. Ryan ran, gripping Luma tightly against his chest. She was shaking but awake, her glowing marks dim now behind them. A wall of white fire burned the sky. The last gift from her mother. They didn't speak. There was no time. The crystal in Ryan's hand pulsed with light, showing the way through the sand. It guided them toward a rocky cliff in the distance where the entrance to the core was hidden. Luma clung to him, her face buried against his armor. "She's really gone, isn't she?" she whispered. Ryan didn't answer. His heart was too full. He had seen many deaths, but this one felt heavier than all the others. The ground shook beneath them far above. A dark shape appeared in the sky, a dropship. Fast and silent, enemy soldiers were coming. Ryan ran harder, his legs burning, lungs aching. They reached the cliff just as the crystal glowed brighter. A hidden door opened in the rock. Sliding away without a sound, Ryan rushed inside, and the door sealed behind them, cutting off the wind. They were inside a smooth tunnel, glowing softly with blue light. It felt ancient, older than war, older than cities as they walked. Luma's steps slowed, she touched the walls, and memories rushed back. "I remember this place," she said quietly. "My mother brought me here before I was born." At the end of the tunnel, they entered a vast chamber. It was circular, with floating lights above and a deep pit in the center. In the heart of the pit was the core, a giant sphere of crystal and energy. Pulsing like a living heart, Luma stepped forward. Drawn by something deep inside her, Ryan held her arm. "Are you sure?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "This is what I was made for." Suddenly, a loud crash echoed behind them. The sealed door had been blown open. Shadows entered the chamber, soldiers in dark armor, weapons glowing red. The leader stepped forward, his voice sharp and cruel. "Give us the girl," he said, "and we'll let you live." Ryan raised his rifle. "Not happening," he growled. The man laughed. "You think you can stop us? She doesn't even know how to activate it." Luma's voice rang out clear and strong. "Yes, I do." The air changed. Her marks began to glow again, brighter than ever before. She stepped into the light of the core. Her body floated slightly as the crystal responded to her presence. Energy swirled around her like wind and flame. The enemy leader shouted, "Take her now!" But before the soldiers could move, the floor cracked. A deep voice echoed through the chamber, not from a person, but from the core itself. "Choice must be made," it said. "One life." "Or all?" Ryan stared in confusion. "What does that mean?" Luma turned to him, eyes glowing white. "I have to bond with the core completely," she said. "If I do, the knowledge will be safe and the world will heal." Ryan frowned. "That doesn't sound like a bad thing," Luma hesitated, "but if I do—" "I won't come back," Ryan's heart dropped. "You'll die." "No," she said, "not die. Just disappear into the core." Forever. The chamber fell silent. The choice was clear now. Let Luma save the galaxy, but lose her forever or destroy the core, escape with her. And let the knowledge vanish. Ryan stepped forward, torn inside. He had promised her mother he would protect her. But was this protection? Or sacrifice? "Let me go, Ryan," Luma said, her voice calm. "This is why I exist." He knelt beside her, his voice breaking. "You're just a kid. You should be playing, laughing, not making this kind of choice." She touched his face gently. "You're my best memory," she whispered. "You showed me that even in war. Someone can be kind." The enemy soldiers stepped closer. "We'll decide for you," the leader growled, raising his weapon. But before he could fire, Ryan made his move. He grabbed a grenade from his belt and threw it at the soldiers. Smoke exploded in the chamber, covering everything in white mist. He turned to Luma, eyes full of tears. "Do it," he said. "I'll cover you." Luma nodded once, then she stepped into the heart of the core. Her body rose high into the air, light pouring from her like stardust. The core opened like a flower and she entered it without fear. The chamber shook, light blinding. Sound roaring like thunder. Ryan dropped to his knees, covering his face, and then silence. When he opened his eyes, the core was gone. So were the soldiers. Only Ryan remained, kneeling in the empty chamber. He stood slowly, looking around. There was no sign of Luma, only a small crystal on the floor. Warm, glowing softly, he picked it up, and her voice echoed from it. "Thank you, Ryan." Tears fell down his face as he walked out of the chamber. He didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a man who had just lost his heart. But he also felt something else, hope. Because Luma had saved more than just a world. She had reminded him what love truly means. The sun was rising over the silent desert. Waves of light spread slowly across the sand. Ryan stood alone at the cliff's edge, staring at the horizon where the sky kissed the earth. His armor was scratched, dusty, and heavy with more than just weight. in his hand. He held a glowing crystal, the only thing left of Luma. Her voice was inside it, soft and warm, like the breeze that brushed his face. He hadn't spoken since he walked out of the core chamber the day before. There had been no more enemies, no more machines, no more war. It was as if her sacrifice had erased everything that wanted to destroy the world. But Ryan didn't feel like a winner. He felt empty. A ship arrived behind him, a small one from the human fleet. His old friend, Captain Diaz, stepped out. "Blake," she called out gently. "Are you all right?" He didn't turn to face her. "I did what I had to," he said, voice low. "She's gone." Diaz stepped beside him and looked at the crystal in his hand. "She did something no one else could," she said. "Maybe something none of us deserved." Ryan nodded slowly. "She wasn't just a girl," he said. "She was a light in a world full of shadows." The wind shifted, carrying the sound of silence, but it was a peaceful silence this time. The kind that comes after a storm. Ryan handed the crystal to Diaz. "Make sure it gets to command," he said. "They need to know what happened, what she did." Diaz hesitated. "And what about you?" He looked at the rising sun. "I'm staying here for now," he said. "She gave everything to protect this place. Someone should watch over it." Diaz gave him a long look, then nodded. "All right," she said softly. "But don't disappear like she did." The ship rose into the sky, dust swirling beneath it. Ryan watched until it vanished into the clouds. He turned back toward the desert, the same desert where he had once found a blind alien girl whispering, "I can't find my mother." That voice still echoed in his heart. Over the next few days, Ryan built a small shelter near the cliff. It wasn't much, just steel walls, a roof and quiet, but it became a place of memory, a place of respect, and every evening, he held the crystal and listened. Sometimes it whispered, other times it glowed with silent comfort, but once, just once, it played a vision. He saw Luma standing in a garden of light, her eyes still closed but her face smiling. Behind her stood others, people of light, glowing softly. She turned and reached out as if she could feel him. "Thank you," she said. "I'm not alone anymore." Tears filled Ryan's eyes. She wasn't gone, not truly. Weeks passed, then months. War didn't return. Not here. Something in the planet had changed, and slowly others began to come. Not soldiers, but scientists, explorers, even peacekeepers. They called it the turning point. The moment when everything shifted. When an unknown girl saved a galaxy by choosing love over fear. Ryan became part of that story. Not as the hero, but as the witness. He told her story to anyone who asked, and many did. The truth spread. That once there was a blind alien child who saw more than anyone. That she gave up everything, not for glory, not for power, but so others could live. One day a child from Earth came to Ryan's shelter. A little girl with a curious smile and a notebook in her hand. "Is it true?" she asked, "that she couldn't see but still saw the stars?" Ryan smiled gently. "Yes," he said. "And she showed me more than any star ever did." The girl wrote down every word. And before she left, she placed a tiny flower beside the crystal. "For Luma," she said. Ryan nodded. "For Luma," he echoed. And so the story lived on, not just in memory, but in books and songs. In the quiet spaces between wars, where people finally understood that sometimes the smallest voices hold the loudest truth. That sometimes the most powerful beings are not the ones who fight, but the ones who choose not to. Ryan stood one last time at the edge of the cliff. The wind danced through his hair. The desert stretched before him. Vast, silent, peaceful. He closed his eyes. "I couldn't protect you from everything," he whispered, "but I'll protect what you gave us, and somewhere, beyond time and stars," a voice whispered back, "you already did."